Hi guys, I'm your host, MJ Racadio of Blogtalk with our segment Blogtalk Hollywood. May is considered Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, or AAPI. From Deadliest sketch to Dancing with the Stars. Six-time Emmy Nominated Editor Ben Bulatao, he embarks with a new project with Orlando Bloom, To the Edge. I had an exclusive interview with him. Take a look.
I'm training to attempt 3 extremely dangerous sports.
This is do not fall territory.
When you put yourself out of your comfort zone, you'll surprise yourself.
Here we go. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about how did you get that gig with Orlando Bloom? Ben, share this.
Yeah, so the show is called Orlando Bloom To the Edge, and it's gonna premiere in April 18th on Peacock. But how I got the job was of who I knew. My friend Steven Spiegel, we worked together on Deadliest sketch. I was his editor, he was story producer. We got along great. And then he wound up moving to this new company, STX, as the post supervisor, and they hire all the editors. So he offered me this job to work on Orlando Bloom's first ever unscripted show. Because of the pandemic, Orlando Bloom was scared that he wouldn't be able to travel as much and do these extreme sports because he's an adrenaline junkie. And so he combined that for the show to do the extreme sports, but also incorporate his Buddhist beliefs. He does a lot of chanting and all that. So I never worked with this team before, never worked with that production company. And when they just gave me the footage, and I was like, what do I do with this? And do you have any way you want to go with this? They didn't really say much. So I figure, okay, they're probably gonna blame me for everything that went wrong, or take the credit if it does great. And so when I came up with my first rough cut for Orlando to see, the supervising editor that I know, she said that Orlando and his partner Katy Perry both cried. And I don't know how true that is, but then it made me feel so good. I was like, oh wow, really? And so they totally trusted me after that, and I love this show because
it must be true because they said yes, Ben.
Oh yeah. It's crazy because he wants to promote it too, by the way, because it was supposed to come out, it was supposed to come out in November, but he asked for them to hold off until April when he has time to promote it. He really wanted to promote it, so that's how proud he is of it. But yeah, it's like, yeah, they trusted me, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just like in shock, but I'm very proud of this because, like, say with Deadliest sketch and Dancing with Stars, they already had editors in previous seasons who figured out the format. This one, I figured out the format of what the show should be.
Congratulations, that's a big feat. And now talk about the progress of Filipino Americans in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And on the top of that, mention also with the progress of your mentoring.
Yeah, for sure. I've been in the industry since 1995, and I was used to being the only Filipino in the room, but also used to being the only person of color in the room. It never bothered me back then because I was just trying to make it, and I just thought this is the way it is. But during the pandemic, Joe Rollampagos, who's an executive producer, he was on The Biggest Loser, was doing a documentary about Stop Asian Hate, along with LeBron James as executive producer, and he offered me a job to work on the show called Recipe for Change. And he also offered AJ Kalomai and Mark Arbitrario and Omega Sue, all of us who are mostly Filipino, but Omega's Asian. But it's the first time I ever worked alongside especially Filipinos, and it was amazing. And that show was nominated for an Emmy, not for editing, but they forgot to submit us for that. But it was really a great experience. And lately, I've been seeing more Filipinos in the room. On Dancing with the Stars, I noticed this story producer coming in, and we were supposed to work on a Jason Mraz segment. And we just worked so well together, but the talk about her being Filipino never came up. We were just having such a great time working with each other. We just happened to be Filipino. And then later in the season, I walked up to her, I go, hey, I have a question. And then she looked at me, she's like, I know what question you have. Yes, I'm Filipino. And we just both started laughing. But her name's Carmi Alasco. She married an Italian, so I think that last name is Italian, but she's amazing. And so, yeah, you know, it's been amazing seeing the progress of more Filipinos in the industry. I've been trying to get a lot of the younger generation in by doing, believe me, I will offer like, hey, I'm free on weekends usually at 11. I'll Zoom with you for an hour or two. If I can't help you, I'll connect you with someone. And I've helped a lot of the younger generation, including Justin Pereira, which was a big one, where he saw me being interviewed by Young Chavez on TFC on the red carpet for the Emmys back in 2000. God, I want to say it's 2019 or 2020. And he turned to his mom. He's like, "Oh, I want to be like him." When he saw me on the TV, and his mom was shocked because she said, "Oh my God, I know his mother-in-law." So we got connected. I gave him advice because I said, "Show me your work." And I saw his work. He was amazing. He did this. It's like a Nike commercial. He shot it himself, edited it. It was amazing. And what I told him is like, your editing is good. It's really good. So I'm gonna like hook you up with my my friend who's a famous reggae singer, Tanel. She allowed him to cut her music video, and it got millions of views. And got paid for an award too. So, and now he's about ready to graduate college, and he's already done a documentary that's already won an award. He does directing, editing, does everything. But the one thing that always sticks to my mind is like during the pandemic, and we had the Clubhouse app that we were doing. He came on stage and had to say about me. He said, "You know what? I just needed someone to tell me that my editing was good," and that was Ben. Because I've been getting a lot of pressure going into medical and engineering, and I just need those few words. And so that's why I encourage mentoring, because it doesn't take much time. And honestly, what we need as we're coming up is just words of encouragement and just a little help. If we can connect us with somebody, it doesn't take that much time.
Absolutely. And what are your thoughts about, you know, filling in the gaps of the Filipinos and the Filipino Americans? Share us especially all of these great organization based creative arts combining together. What can you say about all of these progress in the community?
No, I love it. I've definitely been seeing a lot more Filipinos in the community. Like AJ Kalomai and I, you know, he talked to me. He's like, "Hey, we should form a group on Facebook called Filipinix Film, TV Editors and Entertainment." And we're like, I go, "How many people do you think we're gonna get?" And then once he put it out there, we have so many Filipino editors that came out. Now we all meet once a month. And it's just amazing to see all these like amazing fellow Filipino editors out there. You know, Michelle Tesoro this year is nominated for an Ace Eddie for editing Maestro, you know, the Bradley Cooper movie. And so it's just amazing to just see. I may be biased, but all the Filipinos that I've seen in the industry, when I would watch their work, especially, you know, if I'm working beside them, there is something different about how they edit. It's like I see a certain fire and a certain rhythm. I don't know what it is. I know I'm probably generalizing, but I have not met one Filipino editor that I thought, "Oh no, this is not your career." Most of the Filipino editors I work with are very conscientious about their work. They just have this fire, and I know that we as a people are very creative, and I am surprised that it took this long for a bunch of us Filipinos to be in the industry, but I think it's happening, and you're seeing it too, I think.
Absolutely. That's well said. Now, one last, any piece of advice or word of wisdom to our audience, Ben?
Yeah, I have two. I have one is that cliche in Hollywood. It's who you know in Hollywood. So try to meet as many people as you can. Try not to burn bridges. Try to be a delight to work with, because you never know who you're going to meet that's going to take you to the next level. My first job was at an infomercial place, and I didn't even know how to work. Back then, I didn't know how to work a computer because we were switching over from video film editing to digital, like the AAPI composer. So I told the editor when I interviewed with him, I told him, I was truthful. I go, I don't know how to work a computer. I don't know how to do this. But if you teach me for free, I'll come in at graveyard shift and I will digitize the footage for you guys in. And I will prove to you that you guys would want to hire me. And sure enough, in 3 months, they did hire me. But no one saw me. So what I'm going to meet people because they never see me graveyard shift. So I went to the Christmas party and my future boss walked up to me and she said, Ben, you're the one that works at night. I like you. I'm leaving this place. I'm going to a place that's doing A&E biography and they're just starting. Do you want to come with me and you will be an assistant editor? I went with her and for the next 20 years, she took me with her everywhere. Even to Deadliest Catch. That's what led me to Deadliest Catch. And
that's amazing.
But it's just that one person. So it's like, you never know who you're going to meet that's going to take you to the next level. And the other advice is rejection is protection. That's the one advice I want to give to a lot of people because I remember when I graduated from UC Irvine with biology degree to try to be a dentist because my dad was trying to force me to be a dentist. I didn't want to, and I was just kind of flailing around. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'll do an Asian American Studies program, UCLA. And I thought I was a shoo-in to get in, and I didn't get in. I went over to UCLA and talked to the person in charge, who happened to be Filipino, and asked him why didn't I get in, and he just looked at me in the face and said, because you're just average. And I was shocked and depressed, left. Pretty much crying. And then when I got home, my friend, Laura De Elias, was a council person for Carson, she told me, she's like, I'm glad you didn't get that because I feel like you are destined for something else more broad and better. You're more creative. I was mad at her at first, but now when I look back at it, being rejected by UCLA pretty much saved my life. And I'm so glad that I went, the creative way, because if I would have...
You made the right decision.
Yeah, so
yes,
protection is protection, and please make as many connections as you can in Hollywood.
Thank you so much, Ben, for sharing your story with us. And as they say in Tagalog, mabuhay ka, long live, and thank you so much for continuing with your mentorship to the younger generation.
Thank you so much, buddy. It's always great talking to you, and I thank you for everything that you uplift our community so much.
Thank you. That is it for now. Catch me every week in our Blog Talk Hollywood segment. I'm your host, MJ Racadio. See you next time. Bye.